I think the greatest problem we have with film criticism today is that nobody judges movies objectively anymore. Whenever it's a new movie, it's a bigot complaining about the diversity. And whenever it's an old movie, it's usually a big group of people who are too soaked in member berries to judge the film objectively at all. And both of the examples I just listed can go both ways. Like, you can see people be bigoted towards an older movie, or people be blinded by member berries towards a newer movie, particularly when it's a sequel to a movie from their childhood, as I previously discussed in my video from a few days ago. And I understand that it is hard to judge a film fully objectively. Personal biases are always a huge player, whether it be something you watched when you were a kid, so you automatically have fond memories attached to a film, so making a rewatch of it years later as an adult, well, you're automatically going to be like, this is a good movie because I liked it when I was 5. Personal taste is also a massive player in there. I like to think that my taste in film is very broad. Now, I personally like to think that my taste in film is pretty broad and out there, but I've come to realize that the films that I tend to watch the most, and the films that are often my favorite, are musicals, animated films, comedies, horror, and superheroes. And then we get to political biases, where we'll see somebody support or denounce a film because it either supports or denounces their political beliefs in one way or another. Political biases in film have been very much on the rise within the last decade, especially with all the anti-SJWs on YouTube. A lot of this biases is coming from the right, some from the left, but it's mostly the right. You'll see them be very pro a film like The Trump Prophecy, which is pro the presidency of Donald Trump, and very anti a film like Barbie, which simply expresses what it's like to be a woman in America. And finally, we have religious bias. These are Christians who only really watch Christian movies and denounce every other film. The point what I'm trying to say is that it's going to be hard to judge films objectively. I get that. But if you can just take a minute, sit down, watch a movie, and formulate an opinion by yourself to clarify if a movie is good or bad, that's alright, that's good. And if doing so, you ultimately formulate a similar opinion that you had when you were a kid, that's fine. Maybe it's a little worse, maybe it's a little better. But please, for the love of God, can we stop judging media simply because you liked it as a child?